Good morning, it's day 142. I'm in an area here, just due to the topography, I'm shielded from the gale force winds. Last night I spent at, well, my jaw kind of isn't working very well. I spent at Buckhorn Campground, like a kind of like a Forest Service campground. Must be, completely closed. I'm the only one there. It was fairly calm all night. Little, light and variable winds, but I could hear the gale force winds up above. This is sort of like way down and shielded on the geographic north side of the crest here. And but occasionally there would be like a little eddy of this wind going over the crest, which would reach down into where I was in the campground, and instead of just being a little light and variable, sort of all of a sudden, and yank out some tent stakes. So I had to redo that more than once during the night. Get out of the tent and restake it and put rocks behind the stakes and etc. We'll see how today goes. It might not be good. It might not. I mean, the skies are clear. It's not going to be raining or anything like that. But with this wind, and the trail will go over Mount Baden-Powell, which I remember exposed for quite a while, and I am trying to imagine the winds. The forecast today for the campground where I was, now this is, I don't think it's going to get that bad, but was sustained 35 mile an hour winds, gust to 55. I can't find a forecast for the top of Baden-Powell, but it will be more than that. What I'm hoping is that the worst of the winds will have abated by the time I get there, which is going to be late in the day. The bad part of this is, because it's going to be late in the day, my options for sleeping are going to be limited. There are a couple tent sites this side of the peak. I have no idea sort of how exposed they are, probably pretty exposed. And then there's tenting just beyond Vincent Gap where I was yesterday morning. So yeah, there we are. I think I'm coming up onto the place where I was picked up however many days ago it was now, for 4 days, something like that. Okay, marching, and this is in the area, or adjacent to the area of the endangered species closure area, which has been this way for, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. So the official PCT, you haven't been able to go on that for that long. So hikers get routed onto Angeles Crest Highway, Highway 2, during the summer season. This might be a little dangerous with the traffic. I mean, there's some places there's really not much of a shoulder. There's almost no traffic here. I haven't seen any construction. I haven't heard any construction trucks go by today. So it's Monday. I don't think it's any sort of holiday. Okay, anyway, moving on. Okay, taking refuge in the pit toilet of the Jarvie Memorial Picnic Ground or something like that. Taking refuge from the wind. I have never been in wind like this, ever. A few times I had to, when I was on the downward side of the highway. So I've been hiking along the highway for, I don't know, it's 9 o'clock, 2 hours, maybe a little bit more. And a couple times I had to crouch down and hold on to the guardrail for dear life. There was one time where I was going to just drop down and crawl. I didn't, but I mean, it felt like I was 45 degrees. I probably was only like 30 degrees. Stuff has flown out of my pack. I'm not sure what I've lost. I know I've lost 2 water bottles at least, because they're hanging on the outside. I saw one go. No chance to retrieve it. It went down over the side. There's a lot of grit in my eyes just from the dust being swept up from the highway. Some of these places I've been in, it wasn't even the gusty winds. It was just sustained winds. Like when I wanted to drop down, that was just a sustained wind. Now I was in a little bit of a saddle at the time, so you probably get a little Venturi effect, but yeah. So it's gonna be a matter of where do I find a safe place? You know, pit toilet camping. But then the question is there any water there? I was expecting to see some water along the road today, coming down from you know, onto the road. So you're not getting road contaminated water that you're, you know. It's not just a matter of biological purity at that point. It's, you know, what sort of chemicals are sitting on the road. So in about 3/4 of a mile, I think I'm going to get to Islip Saddle. That might be the furthest I can go without running into the road crews. Several trucks have gone by, so I think they're working today. How these guys are working in these conditions, I'm not sure, but there we are. But I don't want to interfere with them. When I get to Islip Saddle, there'll be another pit toilet there, because I was there yesterday, that if necessary I could take refuge in, but or at least a little rest period. And then the road, or then the PCT, I think goes down below the highway, which, given where the wind is coming from, and it's shifting, I think, from the northeast to the northwest now. So it may be, I may be sort of on the lee side. And beyond that, maybe a couple miles, I believe there is another national forest campground there. So that may be a viable option, and I believe that has water. This is weird. The toilet paper is flying around just from the wind blowing under the door of the pit toilet. Yeah. Type 2 fun in the wind. Baden-Powell's not happening today, unless something dramatic changes. Yeah, even getting in here was, so I opened up the door and the wind wrested the door out of my hand opening it. It didn't break the hinges or anything like that. Then I got in and I tried to close it, and then it, then the opposite side of the wind hit it, and I mean, I could have like smashed my fingers in the metal door jamb here. Okay. Well, where I'm standing, it's quite calm. I did go out there just a little bit before I retreated back. It's very windy out there, and I'm pretty sure, so that's where the trail is, or I'm sorry, the road is blocked for the construction beyond, and I'm pretty sure this is the PCT going up and over this hill. I don't think it goes up terribly high before it drops down again. And it'll be a good test to see how I can tolerate those trails. I mean, that looks like, that's a good tread and everything, but out in the wind. So, but it'll be a test, and then I will end up, I think, in Little Jimmy Spring Campground. So that's what I'm looking at. I see there's a car coming down the road here. Well, looking to the south, down onto the LA basin there. I don't know what it is where I am right now, but it's almost calm here. I've been blasted all day. I mean, within the last hour, I've been nearly lifted off my feet. And the trail, well, yeah, it's starting to go around the south side of Mount Throop. So that is probably protecting. But, yeah, there is one spot here. Certainly in a pinch, I would stay there. I have 1.7 to go to the trail south, but it's actually to the east. If not even a little bit east-northeast. That supposedly has a multiple sheltered spots, according to that brunette. That brunette, whom I met a year ago in Washington on the PCT, has the best reviews of the PCT campsites, tent sites. And I saw her, I met her as she was doing one. I mean, she's systematic, she's thorough, she, counts, she gets out and actually looks around to see if, it's a good site or not a good site. So looking the other way, this is off to the north from the San Gabriels, and you can definitely see the layer of haze. I don't know if that could just be like mostly dust. Actually, it probably is. That's where the winds have been coming from. This is really weird. This is, standing here, even in this saddle, even along this chute, there's very little wind. I can't believe the wind just, like dropped and in that quick of a time the cell went off, but we can only hope. Yeah, the windiest day I've ever had hiking. I probably would have stayed there at Little Jimmy had not a section hiker. Well, he said he was a section hiker. He said his name was Kaito, and I'm pretty sure I've seen his name several times on the PCT further north. Japanese, but he was trying to explain that I should just hike all the way to Vincent Gap. And then get into these cabins above Wrightwood. I don't think I want to do that. Maybe tomorrow night, but I just don't want to do Baden-Powell. Yeah, so this is, I don't know, 3-4 miles trail north of Baden-Powell. There are several of these level spots here. I didn't like that one. Had a dead tree nearby. I took a hard look at it. I don't think the tree is ever going to fall like on that site, but you know, I've had kind of a string of bad luck lately, so there's no dead trees around here. The evergreens have these little pine cones here, and most of them are gone from the trees nearby. This is pretty level, and I'm just going to set up here. You know, low mileage day. Took a couple hours at Little Jimmy Spring. This is going to be a dry camp, but I think I have, you know, a couple liters of water, and I should be able to get over Baden-Powell, and then I think on the south side of Baden-Powell there's a spring, and then I'll probably, yeah, well, I'll decide tomorrow. I'm just glad I survived today. No injuries, no scrapes, no frostbite, no nothing. Good day. Type 2 fun kind of day. The day I will chuckle about, you know, in coming years, but wasn't a whole lot of fun. I mean, and the other thing to note is this tent site here, through another one of these sort of freakish things, there's very little wind right now. I mean, you know, it's 5 knots or something like that coming up from the north. But between here and the last place I had this freakish calm area, you know, once again it was 20-25 knots easy. So yeah, gonna set up the tent. I think I'll take a nap before dinner.